to Sabor Astrology with T and Shay, a podcast for the soul. Today, we'll be talking about how to balance life with the current cosmic energies. And without further ado, I'll pass the thassa to T for the transits of this week. Welcome, T.
Hi there. Hi, Shay. Hi, everyone. It's again great to be here. So we don't have that many transits, but we have some planetary movement, retrogrades coming in and coming out, and we're going to talk about that this morning. So I don't know why I'm all hoarse. The first one that we're going to talk about is Venus stationing direct on the 3rd, and that's Sunday. And are you breathing yet? That's the way I look at it. The sense that I get, there's this tarot card, the Empress, and the particular set that I have, she's sitting back, she's taken her crown off, she's put it next to her on, and she's in this like beautiful flowery garden, and so it's like, what are you doing right now after this, the shifts, the fluctuations, the challenges? We're looking at relationships, we're looking at our monies, we're looking at, our finances, larger finances and smaller finances, and our home, right? All of these things that help us to, I don't know, live life in an abundant, serene sort of way, with softness, with intuition, and beauty. So now's the time to like sit down and let what happened gel. Now is the time to let what happened settle and see where we go with it. We're always changing, we're always moving, and these retrogrades are opportunities for us to go deeper, to reassess, to reevaluate. And we've done that. So with Venus stationing direct, I'm thinking it's that we've done the work. We've done some of that work, and now it's time for us to sit in it, enjoy the reprieve, take some time out. If you need to, if others aren't on, your timetable and you need to just like say, I'm breathing here, you can say you're breathing here, because breath is life. And it's really important to do that. And I also, Shay and I were conversing beforehand about, setting boundaries and limits and that sort of thing. And it's important for us to do that. And I think that when we think about the feminine attributes, I always write about, the feminine persuasion, whatever gender identification, like none of that matters. It's just like, what is that right brain, softness, intuition, what does it bring to your life? But then how do you also like operate in the world where you need to set limits, and it's okay, where you need to say, wait a second, I'm going to put time out here, and I'm allowed to do that. And I don't have to do it in a harsh manner. I don't have to do it, with my lariat. I don't have to do it in a mean sort of way, but I can still do it, and need to be respected. So part of the respect from outside coming into us is, our respect for ourselves inside. So again, I have that image of take off your crown, put it next to you, enjoy yourself, enjoy the beautiful September. I mean, we're in September now. This is new season. This is time for shifting and changing. So those are my words for Venus stationing direct.
Woohoo! I am so happy she's stationed direct. Yeah, it's been a ride with Venus and Leo retrograde for the past month, but we're finally here, like T said. And this Venus is going direct on Sunday, September 3rd at exactly 9:20 p.m. Eastern time. So you can, depending on the time zone, you can shift the time zone for yourself. And my question to all of you, and even to myself and T, what did we learn about our relationships in the past month? What have we learned about money or our own sense of worth and self during this month? And you can take this time to talk about it. You can journal about them. You can record your answers, or you can drop them down in the comments and let us know what have you learned, because the lessons we learned during the retrogrades are always lessons that are for the long term for us. So what are the things that you want to learn more of now that we're coming out of that retrograde? And then see how that fits into your day to day. How does that fit into your relationships, to your conversations, into your partnerships, into your self-worth? And of course, like T mentioned, take off that crown. When T mentioned take off that crown, it reminds me of, you know, the Empress is in her position of in her throne because she's done the work. Whether was it easy or was it difficult, that's up to her. But now she's taking off the crown to be like, okay, I see where I'm at. I see where I stand more. It's more of a clarity thing for the Empress. So how can we also become the Empress during this time, right? We're stepping into the darkness and the lamp of our dear Hermit, and also stepping into our Empress, and they work hand in hand as well. So that's some words and some questions to reflect on during this time.
Great, thank you. It's great. Yeah, it's like the images become alive, right? As we're speaking. It's pretty wonderful. So now we're going to talk a little bit about Jupiter, which has gone into retrograde September 4th. And that's going to last until December 30th. So when we think about Jupiter, we think about expansion, we think about joy, we think about mentorship, something higher, something bigger than ourselves. It's a wisdom. It can be of another culture. It could be of something that's just grander that comes into our day-to-day. And Jupiter has been in Taurus, and it still is, right? So it's going to go retrograde or just kind of like sit still there for a while so that we can get to really connect with Jupiter and what that means for us inside. And last week we also spoke, I spoke about this last week, that these retrogrades are a time for us to really participate in our own process. Like, what is it that we're doing? And not just let life happen or say, oh my God, this thing happened and I don't know why, or like, there's some mutual process here. It's like we've shouted out for, or at least I know that I do, like personally will, pray out to the universes and ask for guidance. We'll ask for help. We'll ask for things. And then it's like, okay, so like, what's my part in here? What am I accepting into my life? And what I'm really not wanting? Because maybe I have a particular vision, but the person of who I am, maybe it doesn't really coincide. Maybe they're not really in sync, because I am a person who, although I may say I have this like big vision, I like quiet. I like to be in my house. I like certain things so that maybe I don't always want to be in the expansion of Jupiter. So how can I work with that? How can I sit with Jupiter and meditate and say, these are the things that are going to be comfortable for me. This is how I can operate with you as you're making big changes in my life. But maybe I still need to have Monday nights where I just sit and watch a crime drama, whatever the heck it is that I like to do, right? And we all know that, I'm just giving an example of myself in this, because I always like to bring it to the context, bring it personally, and help you to, think for yourself, like, what are the things that I like to do? Like, I could put a prayer out there and say, I want to be, I don't know, a star. I want to be Beyonce, right? Does she get time to rest? I don't know. Like, how does she do her schedule? Like, whatever the thing is, right? So it's really for us to sit down. These are a great few months. We're going into the dark months again, which is a time of revitalization, which is a time for recharging, which is a time to address the decay, to address the shadow, to address the darkness in us. And then you have Jupiter, which is at the opposite end, like, so let's use this time. You mentioned Hermit, like, Hermes, Hermeticism, quiet, going into the dark, going into the night, and letting all of these polarities, get to know each other. So those are the thoughts that come to me with Jupiter being in retrograde, Shay.
I love that one. And like the quiet, right? How can we work in expansion while also being in silence and quiet? And we can expand in silence because silence is a way to know. It is connected to the West, to the place of um to the waters of understanding. So when we work from there in silence, we are actually processing things so much that we are actually expanding, but we don't have to always expand externally. We can expand internally. That's what the hermit, that's what his work is, to expand within so then he can at some point expand without. um so within silence there is that great expansion. With this Jupiter also in retrograde, there's an opportunity to connect to the inner teacher, to the inner teachings. There might be ancient teachings or ancient knowledge or just the regular mundane things that we have to kind of learn but we haven't been able to learn can come up, and it's all within us in our inner temple. And what I mean by inner temple is your inner spiritual space. If you were right now to just close your eyes and imagine how it will look like, that is your inner temple. That is a space you go in. You can practice quiet, like T mentioned. You can practice home comfort, and especially how to work with your root chakra, connecting you back to earth, but also with your crown chakra, which is also with the sky. In Hermeticism, that will be considered the sphere of Keter, which is the highest sphere, which is what is spiritual evolution and development is helping us to work up to. So just keep that in mind as you are in this Jupiter retrograde. And if you're used to always expanding and always being external and don't feel comfortable with the inner work, it's okay. Just take it one step at a time, so it can help you to really think the why, to dig deeper to that. And also, I have some questions here for you to reflect on, talk about, maybe inspire you in a journal or in creativity. What are you expanding in during this retrograde? Remember, it could be inward, it could be different. The second question is, what are we afraid to expand on? Is there some fears of maybe we're so used to it, or maybe we're not used to expanding and what that means for us? Because Jupiter is the teacher. He's a sage, a teacher that teaches from a place of love, understanding, and light. So ask Jupiter exactly what it wants to help you with. And then the third question is, what are you learning about yourself? And that's so important. Remember, this is the self, the inner self is the inner temple. And what are you learning? Talk about it, get inspired. I would say do a collage of some sort, some art, and see, or if you are not into art, make some beats, do something that will get you more in tune with your creativity. And I feel like Jupiter wants us to do that. That's one way to move this energy around for us. And that's all that I got for Jupiter retrograde.
Yeah, my wheels are turning. And as you were talking, I had the image of walking a labyrinth and doing a meditation with a labyrinth. As you walk inward, right? There's that process, there's that introspection, that's that path work, that step work. And then as you walk outward, what is it that you're finding? And that, you can do both. You can do both. And again, those are the polarities of expansion and also introspection. And the other thought I had as you were talking was that, oh, this is shadow work. We don't have to do it alone. We can get a therapist, we can get a mentor, we can get an astrologer, somebody that we feel that we might want to venture on this journey with. But you're the one that calls the shots. No one else is going to tell you how long you have to do it, what you have to do. This is your life, this is your path. So it's a beautiful opportunity.
Yes, absolutely.
So the next transit we're going to talk about is Sun trining Jupiter from Thursday the 7th to Saturday the 9th. And so you have the sun with all its light, all its glory, a little bit of ego, trining, good opportunity if you work at it. With Jupiter, again, place of expansion. And, we've just gone into retrograde, as we just spoke about at this point. This is a good time to move forward in projects, especially your business projects, and that this time can be used auspiciously. You may think that any positive manifestations that come to you out of the blue are just coming to you out of the blue. They're not. They're coming to you because you've worked at them. They're coming to, it's like our blue moon. Like we knew our blue moon was coming, but we're like, oh my goodness, once in a lifetime we have a blue moon. It's not really like that, right? The blue moon, we know when the blue moon is coming. So it's so much larger than that, but know that the hard work, the impeccable work that you've engaged in can bring forward situations, can bring forward events that may be surprising, but that you've actually helped to manifest in this world. So you may have some surprises come in. That's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like, oh my goodness, this is happening. And it may be something that you thought about a long time ago and you really hadn't been putting your mind to it, but it's going to be there. And I'm getting a really warm feeling about this, that it's going to be something that is, I don't know, just feels self-fulfilling and rewarding, and enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Wow, I love the warmth. I did feel that as well when I was preparing, looking into this aspect. Definitely the warmth rays that are coming in. This transit also encourages us to widen our horizons. But remember, since Jupiter's retrograde is within those horizons within us. I don't know why this is coming up right now, but if any of you know or work with any solar meditations, this would be a really good time to do some solar meditations, meaning going within and focusing on your sun. How does it look like within you? Or if you do hermetics, doing some rituals with the sun and to help you keep that warmth within yourself. Some of the things I question also about this aspect is, where has there been any limitations or closing off, right? Where has our chest closed off, our heart? Effectively, us opening our arms out to receive. In addition, I received this flavor to this transit that's really interesting. So I got the flavor of sancocho. I don't know why. Puerto Rico is a Puerto Rican soup, which is warm and it's great on a breezy, cool winter day. And I guess this is because we're transiting from the summer now to the fall soon. And we'll be experiencing this Jupiter retrograde and this aspect, right, for the next 2 days, but still can go with us for a little while. There's something comforting about this aspect, and T just pinpointing that it was the warmth that I was feeling and radiating from this aspect. So hope we can all experience that in our own way. And I believe that this aspect is per perspective. I'm getting that. So it's how we view the aspect. What are we able to experience from it? It's through our perspective. How do we want to view it? So I think that would be great for all of us individually and collectively.
Love that. An astrological sancocho.
So good.
Getting hungry now. You shouldn't have said that. Okay, so the last transit we're going to talk about today is the sun conjuncting Mercury, and that's from the 10th, Sunday, to Tuesday, the 12th. And I see this transit as bringing you clarity of thought. It's giving you mind space, where up until recently, you might have been a little foggy, you might have been clouded with thought. And just as, we have to keep our desks clear, or whatever our workspace is clear in order for us to continue to manifest, continue to produce, continue to create, that we have to do the same thing with our minds. Meditate, visualize the clarity. Passing, I had the thought, this is where my medical side comes through again, the blood-brain barrier, right? Going through from your thoughts, from your brain to all parts of your body, and not let your organs like separate out, which I think that we do that organically. We tend to separate out. So if we can, like it's not my spiritual life, my physical life, my work life, my family life, these are all together. These are all together. Sometimes some go a little bit more frontward than others. Sometimes we work a little harder. Sometimes we spend more family time, student issues or whatever that we want to be with. So with our meditation, if we allow this clarity to come through us, again, introspection, right? Meditation is introspection. If we can do that, then it will permeate into our outside worlds and we will start seeing the differences. Again, that desk clear. If I don't get rid of the papers from last week, next week is not working for me, but sometimes I forget, right? It's like, oh my goodness, where did I put, so it's something that we like methodically have organization, self-organization skills, work on those. But this is a good time. It's a clear time. I already feel it. I feel it. It's a time of clarity. So be in peace with it. Again, I'm going back to Venus gestation direct. It's so interesting how they're all working together and, from my perspective. So be in peace. Go lightly on the earth. Be sure-footed. Know that these are times to be treasured. These are, these times of clarity are times to be treasured. So that's my encouragement with this particular transit.
I love the clarity we all needed, right? With all these planets in retrograde. Might feel a little fuzzy, but this aspect definitely brings clarity. Any planet, I'm going to talk about the sun in particular. When any planet is next to the sun, the sun is beaming its rays on that planet. So in astrology, and I believe I've spoken about this episodes ago, it's called a combust planet, a combustion, where the planet that's right next to the sun is under the rays of the sun, meaning it's kind of getting burned or getting too much sun, pretty much, without the SPF, pretty much. So Mercury, the planet of communication, being under the rays of the sun, it naturally manifests in different ways. So one way is being that we want to enjoy the things that are around us. We want to be lights. We want people to be attracted to us. We want to attract people. We also want to have a lot of chats and times to communicate. And that can bring in that clarity that we all need. Remember the clarity that T mentioned, those communication skills, speaking to people, being able to express yourself without fear of what you're going to say is going to affect someone or is going to offend someone. So though Mercury's getting a little bit burnt under the sun, we can work through that by being who we are, by knowing that what we are is part of what we experience, and what we speak on those things and experiences sometimes can relate to other people and can connect to other people. And this is where community comes in, where there's always that one story, that one thing you've experienced. You thought you were alone on it, and so many other people experience that. So work with this aspect in a way that works best for you. I'm getting also, some of us might have a very beautiful voice in this time. So there could be like a physical manifestation of it, or like singing could be a thing for us to work through this aspect, or dancing or listening to really good music to help us appreciate things. If anyone in here is ever presenting art, this is the perfect time. You'll be radiating and you'll be able to communicate it with ease. You get full power to do it. And we can all work through this in different ways and see how it fits and suits all of us. And that's all for this aspect.
That's great. That's great. I always like to hear your take on things. Get so much more, getting other people's perspective, right, is what you're saying.
Yes.
It's so important for us not to be alone.
Yeah.
To share, listen to what the community has to say, share in the community. And so that leads me to say that, share your thoughts, Tell us what you're thinking. How are you experiencing these? Maybe you want to give a little blurb as to, answering some of the questions that, Shayla posed, there to help each other out. This is a community. Our podcast is a community. It's just not T and Shay. It's all of you. Again, we invite you to, like, share, subscribe, and also to consider being members of the Patreon, where we have bonus episodes in there. Right now, we have the Mysteries of Walter Mercado, and you'll find all that information down as usual. Con mucho sabor, T and Shay.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Sabor Astrology with T and Shay. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.